Welcome to Project Manager to CEO channel. Today we will go through top 10 Scrum and Agile interview questions answered. Pass any interview. 90% of Agile interview failures happen in the first 2 minutes. Candidates confuse Agile with Scrum. They define sprint incorrectly. They describe the Scrum Master as a project manager. These mistakes end interviews before they begin. Today I am going to give you the exact answers to the top 10 Scrum and Agile questions straight from the Scrum Guide 2020. Question 1. What is Agile? Agile is not a tool. It is not a process. Agile is a mindset. It was born in 2001 when 17 software developers signed the Agile Manifesto. That document holds 4 values. Individuals over processes. Working software over documentation. Customer collaboration over contracts. Responding to change over following a fixed plan. Most candidates recite these 4 values perfectly. Few can give a real example. That is where interviews are won. Prepare one personal story about embracing change under pressure. That story proves you live the values, not just memorize them. Question 2. What is Scrum? Scrum is a lightweight framework for delivering complex work in short cycles. It was created by Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland. The Scrum Guide is only 13 pages long. It defines 3 roles, 5 events, and 3 artifacts. Nothing more and nothing less. Scrum does not tell you how to write code. It tells you how to organize work around continuous delivery and inspection. The biggest mistake candidates make is describing Scrum as a project management methodology. It is not. Scrum is a framework built on empirical process control. Question 3. What is the difference between Agile and Scrum? This is the most common trick question in any Agile interview. Agile is the philosophy. Scrum is one specific framework that applies that philosophy. Think of Agile as the destination and Scrum as one vehicle to reach it. Kanban is another vehicle. SAFe is another. Extreme programming is a third. Every Scrum team must follow Agile values. But not every Agile team uses Scrum. Confusing the two immediately signals a shallow understanding to senior interviewers. Say this clearly in your interview and you have already separated yourself from the majority of candidates. Question 4. What are the 3 Scrum roles? The product owner owns the product backlog. They prioritize what gets built based on business value. They decide what is built next but never how it is built. The Scrum Master is a servant leader. They remove blockers, coach the team on Scrum practices, and protect the team from outside interruptions. They are never a boss or a manager. The development team is cross-functional and self-organizing. They decide how to build. No external authority dictates their technical decisions. One question interviewers always ask, can the Scrum Master and product owner be the same person? The Scrum Guide explicitly says no. These roles must always remain separate. Question 5. What are the 5 Scrum events? Sprint planning sets the sprint goal and selects backlog items. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute daily sync for the development team only. The sprint review demonstrates working software to stakeholders and collects feedback. The sprint retrospective inspects how the team worked and commits to at least one improvement. And the sprint itself is the container for all of this. It is the 5th event. Most candidates name only 4. Listing all 5 immediately demonstrates depth. Time boxes are not suggestions. They are enforced discipline. Question 6. What is the definition of done? This answer separates beginners from professionals. Done does not mean the code is written. Done means the feature is fully tested. Done means it passed a thorough code review. Done means it is deployable to production right now with no additional work required. Teams must write this definition down and enforce it every single sprint. Without a clear definition of done, technical debt grows invisibly. Bugs ship as features. Quality degrades silently. The Scrum Guide calls this a formal description of the quality standard. If you say done means the story is complete, you have failed that question. Question 7. What is the difference between the product backlog and the sprint backlog? The product backlog contains everything the product might ever need. It is owned entirely by the product owner. It is prioritized, refined, and always changing. The sprint backlog contains only the items the team commits to delivering in the current sprint plus the sprint goal. It is owned by the development team. Once a sprint begins, the sprint goal is locked. Individual items can be negotiated, but the goal never changes mid-sprint. Mixing these two concepts in an interview signals that you do not understand how Scrum manages scope. Question 8. What is a sprint? A sprint is a fixed time box of 1 month or less. During a sprint, the team creates a done increment of working software. Every sprint has the same structure: plan it, build it, review it, retrospect on it. Sprints never exceed 1 month. Most teams run 2-week sprints. Sprints cannot be cancelled by stakeholders because the product they want changed. Only the product owner can cancel a sprint, and only if the sprint goal becomes obsolete. That almost never happens. Candidates who describe a sprint as just a development cycle miss the point. A sprint is a complete cycle of delivery and learning. Question 9. What is the difference between a Scrum Master and a project manager? This question reveals how deeply you understand modern delivery. A project manager is command and control. They assign tasks, track timelines, and report status. A Scrum Master is a servant leader. They serve the team by removing obstacles. They serve the product owner by facilitating backlog refinement. They serve the organization by coaching on Scrum adoption. A Scrum Master has no authority over the team. They cannot approve work or assign tasks. Saying that the Scrum Master manages the team is one of the fastest ways to end an interview. Question 10. How do you handle scope change in Agile? This is where most candidates panic. In Agile, scope change is not a crisis. It is expected and welcomed. The correct answer is this. Scope changes go through the product owner first. If the change is urgent, the product owner adds it to the top of the backlog. If a sprint is underway, the new item goes into the next sprint unless the sprint goal itself becomes obsolete. Scope is managed through the backlog, not through a change request form. Interviewers want to know that you understand scope as a controlled conversation, not a fight. Here is your action for the next 10 minutes. Open the Scrum Guide 2020 right now. It is free. It is only 13 pages. Every single answer I just gave you comes from that document. Read it once before your next interview. You will outperform 90% of all candidates sitting in that room. The knowledge costs nothing. The competitive advantage is entirely yours. Start now. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you, please like it. Subscribe to get new videos every week. Drop your questions in the comments below. This is Project Manager to CEO. See you in the next one.